This video is going to show you how to make a plot from our statistics data. In a previous video, we entered in this IQ data. If I go to Stat and I go to Edit, it's going to show that data in list number 1. What I'm going to do is make a statistics plot, and right up above the Y key, it says Stat Plot. We're going to choose that. To get that, we need to hit the second button, and we hit the Y. And we go up here, and there could be some choices. We want to make sure we go to plot 1, and also note that the other plots are turned off. If they're not turned off, go ahead and choose them and turn them off. But I'm going to go to plot 1, and I'm going to turn it on. So that's one of the first things I do. And then the type of plot, we get to choose those. I arrow down to get to type. This will be a scatter plot. We'll use those in chapter 10 quite a bit. This looks like a bar chart. This is the histogram we're after, and these are box plots that we will use a little later on also. So here's the histogram. I choose that, and then the next thing I need is to show the list number that my data's in. Right now it's pointing to L1, that's where my data's at. If it was in L2, here's how I choose the list numbers. If you look at the calculator, numbers 1, 2, 3, and so on, up above them there's an L1, an L2, an L3, etc. So we would choose the second button, and whichever one of these we have, and that would, when I chose 2, it picked list 2. I really need to go back and pick list 1. Oops, and I need to clear those. List 1. Also, we need a frequency, and each one of those data points we do one time. Sometimes the frequency is in a list, but not with a lot of stuff we do. We're usually looking for a frequency of 1. The next thing we want to do is we want to graph it, but let's not hit the graph button. Let's hit the zoom button. We want to adjust the screen size so it gets all of our data in there. We're interested in what's called zoom stat. It's the 9th one down. If your screen doesn't show 9 of them, if it stops at 7 or 8, you need to arrow down to number 9, or just choose number 9. All the calculators have zoom stat at number 9. So I choose 9, and it makes this graph. Where are these numbers? What are they? We hit the trace button, and this first group goes from 75 to 80.8, and there's 7 of them. The next group goes to from 80.8 right up to 86.6, and there's 4 of them, and we can look at the others. I don't like the split of fractional amounts, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change how this window looks by going to Window. When we did zoom stat, it automatically made this. I'm going to change it a little bit, and I'm going to go from an X minimum of 70, and I'm going to go to a maximum of 110. And those two numbers, the minimum and the maximum, are split up by 40 points, and I want 5 different classes. So if I do 40 divided by 5, the scale in the X direction will be 8. I choose that, then I choose graph. It took that same data and put them in other groups. Again, if I go trace, from 70 to 78 I have 3 data points. From 78 to 86 I have 8, and so forth. And this is what's called a histogram. We start looking and seeing some shape of the data. And again, the shape can change by how we make those groupings. So that's it for right now, and we'll talk about more stat plots later.